Hello, everyone. Welcome to another session of Fred Speaks. I hope everyone had a great day and just want to talk to you for a few minutes about uh, something I was thinking about today. And I presented a question to someone uh, concerning the perfect life. And in our minds, we have this, this fairy tale like of what the perfect life would be. um and I just remember just rambling off some things about having God in my life, and having faith and confidence in God. I mentioned having uh a healthy life, or being healthy to enjoy life, to to have a beautiful, intelligent wife, healthy wife, and couple kids that are healthy. And let's see, what else did I have on the list? I had having a my own business that was prosperous, having a nice home, uh, nice vehicles, uh, and I just kind of joking around, I threw in there having two concubines. And and I thought about that. I was like, man, we can think of some crazy things when we think about a perfect life. And but really, when you think about it, it's not as far fetched, when it comes to what is really important to having, a life that you are content, and you're not worrying. And a lot of times when it comes to having the perfect life, it really is not about how much you have, but it's a state of mind that you're, content, you have peace, you're not wanting for anything, and that doesn't mean that you got to have a whole lot. But I think in our minds, in the society, um, you got to have the great American dream. So you got to have this perfect job, and you get married, and you have kids, and all these different things that are basically materialistic, or external things. And those things are not, they don't, they're not sustainable as far as when it comes to happiness, you know because those things, they get old, you get tired of them, you get a new car, and you have it for a little while, and before you know it, you're tired of it. You see something else that you like. You can have the husband that you was like, oh, this is my dream husband, this is the person I always wanted. And guess what? You get tired of them, and you see somebody else that you want. So our idea of what's perfect uh, is basically not realistic, because we're human, and being human, we can't be perfect. So therefore, the things around us are will never be perfect. But in our minds, we think about what the perfect life would be. And for me, uh, it's a lot of small things that I'm like, man, if I could have this on a daily basis, just small things, having peace and joy, and having a reasonable portion of health and strength, and a decent job and a decent vehicle to drive, and living in a decent neighborhood, and and my health is good and stuff like that. Those things. I'm like, I can be content in that. And I think about if I had, the perfect wife, so-called perfect wife, the looks, the body, and everything. And but see, like I said, those things are not sustainable because she won't stay that way forever. She won't stay that way forever. So, you know, the perfect, wife, or the perfect husband, the perfect kids, the perfect job, those things, because your life is about ups and downs. And so with that, you know, every day is not going to be great. Every day is not going to be good. But in our mind, we think about, oh man, if I had, you know, the perfect life, this is what it would be. But I'm glad that my life is the way it is, because there's always room to improve, to get better, to achieve things, accomplish things that I hadn't done before. But if everything was perfect, then it would be like, okay, dang, there's nothing to strive for. There's nothing to reach for. So then we have the life that is perfect for us. The life that we have is perfect for us. There's not this life that the only life that is greater than the life that we have is when we leave here and we're with God. We're absent from the body and present with the Lord. That's the perfect life. That would be the life where there is no more pain, there's no more sorrow, no more disappointment, no more sickness, no more none of these things that we equate with being negative or not perfect or not good. So then I have to learn to accept and to deal with the life that has been given to me. That doesn't mean, now when I say accept, that doesn't mean that I don't strive to be better and to do things, to accomplish things. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying that you can't. There's nothing you can do about the life that has been given to you. You know what I'm saying? You have to. You can take it, embrace it, and try to do the best you can with the life that is given. So to me, the perfect life on earth, uh, would be just having contentment, having God in my life and being content with, the things that I have, being appreciative of it. And so many times when we're going through things and we're dealing with things, we don't we tend to look at our life as like, oh my God, this is the worst life, and I wish you could change it. But I believe that everything that we go through is leading us to be better, but it takes going through, to get to the next level. And you think about a diamond or different things, like they have to go through a process, to be, that diamond has to go through a process in order for it to be what you see when you go into a jewelry store. But if you saw, what it had to go through, you probably would have thought, man, this will never be a diamond. And that's how I look at my life. I'm a work in progress. I'm a work in progress, but I will not reach perfection. My life will not be perfected until I can be relieved of the human part, the human body, and God give me a glorified body. So then, until then, I have to make the best of the life that has been given to me. Some people say, well, I had it rough. I had a rough childhood. I grew up in the projects. I had to deal with this and deal with that, and they want a better life. So, and that's great. You want a better life. And in that, you have to understand that it's not going to be perfect. You can go to college, you can get all the degrees you want and everything, but you're still going to have some ups and downs. But through that, you become a stronger, wiser person. So you're actually being perfected, but more so in the spirit than in the flesh. And when you go through, if you've never been in a situation where you had to receive mercy, then you don't know how to give mercy because you were never in a place where you had to receive it. But once you see where you were in a place where you had to have mercy, then you're able to, share in mercy with others when they're in a place where you could crush them or you could be mean towards them, but because you've attained mercy, then you're able to give mercy. And that's all life is. Like I say, it's just a up and down. you know you have good days, you have bad days, but through all of that, you seem to come through, and you get better, you get wiser. And so I don't want to so much focus on having this perfect life of, you know I got everything's got to be perfect. It doesn't exist. So let's just get that out of the way. It does not exist. It does not exist a perfect life on this earth. And like I said, the what you want to achieve is having God in your life and being content with, you know I have a reasonable portion of health and strength, my family as well, different things like that. You can appreciate them, and you can see that even in the midst of, you're going through and different things like that, that I have something that can't be taken away from me, which is more than material things, and you know things that you can see with the natural eye. But to have peace at the end of the day, and be able to go home and be able to lay down in peace, I mean, that is priceless. That is priceless. And that's something, you know even if you have outside interferences, things that are going on in your life, you have a place in you. And that's why I say having God, that you can have that peace. And that, man, to me, that's perfect. That's something perfect on earth, is to be able to have peace when we're living in a world where it's trouble everywhere. It's something, problems and depression and all kinds of different things that are going on. And to be in the midst of this and still be able to have peace, that to me is perfect. So I just wanted to talk to you tonight, um, a little bit about, this idea of a perfect life, and just want to say that there is no perfect life. We will not be able to obtain that until we are with him, until he, when our day is done, he calls us home. uh, we will not have a so-called perfect life, uh, because as long as we're here on earth and in a human body, there's limitations, there's issues, there's problems. There's things that can go wrong. There's trouble, there's disappointment, there's evil. So there's so much that can go wrong in this life. But the life to come with Christ, there won't be any uh, limitations as far as everlasting joy and peace and happiness. You know, that'll be a permanent thing. There won't be any evil and no disappointment and any of that kind of stuff. So just want everyone to tonight to kind of just think about, when you're going through, because usually that's when we start to think about, uh, somebody, we're looking at somebody and we're like, man, that person there, has this great life or whatever. But you don't know what that person is going through. You don't know what they're dealing with when you don't see them, when they go home and they're behind closed doors. You don't know what they're dealing with. And but you assume that they have this great life, perfect life, because they're driving a Mercedes, a BMW, a Range Rover, and they live in a nice home, and the kids seem to be great, and the husband is great, or the wife is great, and you just assume that they're just exempt from any trouble. But I want to let you in on something, is that everybody, I don't care what it looks like, everybody is going through something. There is nobody that's living a perfect life. I don't care where they're at, whether they're in the White House or they're in a shack. Everybody is going through something. And so instead of us focusing on this perfect life, we should make the best of the life that has been given to us. And we all have situations that come up in our life, and these situations, they're not uh, to kill us or destroy us, but they are experiences for us to know a higher power, to be able to understand that in order for me to have anything that is good, that I need this higher power. I need God in my life, because without him, because life will throw you some things that you'll be like, man. And if God don't intervene, there's no way you will be able to continue. And he shine on the just as well as the unjust. So those who don't even know him or don't believe in him, he's such a merciful God that he will shine on them as well. He'll see somebody who is going through depression, that is not crying out to him, that is not reaching for him, and yet he will touch them. When they feel like they just want to end it all, he'll reach out and touch them, and give them the mind to, or let them see something in their life they should continue on for, that, whether it's a child, a spouse, or a loved one, or somebody, or something that they feel like, oh, I can go on a little further. I need to go on, a little further. And so without God, and that's the thing, without him, life is not even worth living. So to have this idea in our minds, like, um if I had all of this, and I had if I had all these different things, man, my life would be great. And I remember one time, I was some years ago, I was at a laundromat, and I was sitting there in the car. I had my stuff in the dryer and stuff, sitting there in the car. And there was this woman walking by, and this guy was sitting in the car next to me. And he said, if I could have her, man, my life would be great. And I'm thinking, like, man, he's talking about for a moment. He's talking about for a moment. But it's not anything that's going to last. It's not going to last. And I think that's what us as humans, we get so caught up in things that won't last. And we're saying, if I had this, then I would have the perfect life. But when you get those things, being a human being, we you can't please yourself. You try to make yourself feel good. You might go and buy yourself something. You might go and do some, go drinking or whatever, smoking or whatever, and you're trying life on earth, because I've grown to a place to realize that there is nothing that I can get that is going to give me a perfect life. There's no woman, there's no job, there's not having a bunch of children, having a beautiful home. None of these things will give me the perfect life. Now, these things will make my life, I can enjoy life more or whatever, but the perfect life, no, because with all of those things I mentioned, you're going to have problems with, you're going to have issues with. But in God and the things he have to offer, there's no issues. That's perfect. That's perfect. And to be living in a corrupt and evil world and being able to have God, and what I'm simply saying is being with God, you have peace, you have love, you have joy, and in the midst of everything that's going on, you got a hiding place. You got something that you can escape. You can escape. And so with that, I'm going to bring this session to an end. I hope everyone got something out of this, um, because there are a lot of people, you know, out there that are searching and looking and want this perfect life. And I just want to be honest, there is no such thing as a perfect life on earth. And what I'm saying there is that when it comes to the human part of us, and everything that we see with our natural eyes, none of these things is going to make your life perfect. And the only perfect life is in Christ Jesus. And I hope that everyone was able to get something out of this. I know someone may have some comments, and feel free to comment on this, to like it. And with that, we're going to say good night, and we look forward to another session on next week. So everyone have a good night.